Hey guys, it's Black Knight 286 here, and my first video review is going to be on Sonic Generations for the 3DS. I know people have already done the review on the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, but the 3DS version, in my opinion, is very comparable and a lot different, to be honest with you. So, here I go. The first thing that anybody will notice about the 3DS version is that the 3DS version stacks up very well to any Sonic game, even the console ones, in my opinion. In fact, this is the best handheld Sonic game to ever come out, and a great revival for the series. Sonic is pretty much generalized in this game as two Sonics. You have your classic chunky Sonic that you'd see in Sonics 1, 2, 3, and CD, and then at the same time you have your modern Sonic that you would see in games like Sonic Rush or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Now, most Sonic games are really generalized into three areas: camera angle, the speed that Sonic goes, and level design. The first thing to note is the level design. As far as level design goes, because there's classic and modern Sonic, you have two different types of level designs. But when you have classic Sonic, in levels like Green Hill Zone, they're exact ports. But regardless if you're playing Emerald Coast or Green Hill Zone, they're all basically mixed versions of the original stage, but at the same time they still have everything that the original had. So it's a perfect mix for the series. They do a perfect job of this, and these mix that they add are just really great. I have no problem with them whatsoever. Another thing to note is the camera angle. The camera angle in Sonic Generations will vary depending on if you're classic or modern, once again. If you're classic Sonic, you have your regular 2D side-scrolling, no change there. But if you're modern Sonic, every once in a while, like as you just seen there, the camera will switch angles and go to another angle, either in front, to the side, or behind Sonic, depending on what angle he wants. And lastly, you have level design, camera angle, and then last but not least, Sonic speed. Out of all the handheld Sonic games to come out, this is probably the fastest he's gone in a very long time. And again, this is why I say it's a great revival for the series. Now, if I were to look at, or compare it to the console version, I will say this: the console version is undoubtedly better as far as gameplay goes, just for the fact that the gameplay for modern Sonic on the console version isn't like a cheap knockoff. Like when I play this, it kind of feels like somewhat of a cheap knockoff of what the console version's modern Sonic would be. But at the same time, it does still feel like the original modern Sonic that you would get in Sonic Generations or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So that's still a really good thing. Now I gotta talk about the core elements of the game. Like, for instance, story. Like most Sonic games, this one suffers from a plain story. There's nothing really special about it. It's just a story. Like, another thing to add to that unlikeliness of this game is it's too short. There's only 7 zones and only 3 boss stages. Each boss stage has 2 bosses, so there's a total of 6 bosses. So you're actually short 1 boss. But it makes up for that in shortness because they have a verse mode that you have. In the verse mode, this actually beats PS3 and Xbox 360 because you can actually verse people head to head in this one, either through around the world or people in your area. On top of that, they also added missions in this one. via Street Pass. You can either use the play coins you get from walking around in the pedometer, or you can use play coins that you can get, or a Street Pass. There's over 100 missions in this game, so it lasts a very long time. Finally, you have Time Attack. Time Attack is great because what they have, like in the PS3 and the Xbox 360, they tell you what your standings are against the top 5 and where you stand in there. So, it adds a lot more aspects to the game, even after you beat the game. One thing, though, that really pisses me off, though, is the voice acting. Like always, there's no cinematic voice acting in this at all. It's just the same old thing. It's just, huh? Hmm? And Tails every 2 seconds annoyingly going, Sonic! 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 And if it's not that, it's just plain word bubbles. I guess it's better than nothing, but I really wish that they would have had the same thing that the PS3 and Xbox 360 had. Story-wise, though, they keep everything the same. It's just really an abridged version of it. But you can see the visuals and the graphics are actually not that bad. They're very good, to say the least. Again, Sonic. Now, the last thing I have to say on this is it's a very good game, and you should definitely give it. Whether it's the memorable stages that you go through or the bosses, this game, even after you beat it, will have you crawling back to do stages like Emerald Coast, Radical Highway, and my favorite boss in this game, Shadow. After I've played Shadow stage or the boss at least 5, 6 times just because it was so amazing. I guess another little perk is that because it's basically all the original Sonic that you would have had originally, it kind of helps this game a lot because you have all the original bosses and stages that you had in the original one. They even keep the music or remix it a little bit, as you see here, which, as little as it is, helps it a whole lot. So on a final note, I have to say this. This is a great game, and if they worked on it a little more, this game could be this game is by far the best handheld, but if they worked on it a little more, this game could be pretty much perfect. So if I were to say anything, I expect in the next one to have a longer story line and maybe a little cinematic action in it. But out of everything, Axum gives this a 9 out of 10. Well, I hope you like my review. This is Black Knight 286. Later.